I usually don't do these type of videos, but I figured in this case I gotta say something because I have thoughts and I want to share them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, probably don't, because it's only about the first 30 seconds into the video. I usually don't like doing reviews for movie trailers because it's literally the ultimate in over analyzing a movie, because you're literally are taking 30 seconds, not even, maybe 20 seconds of a movie and analyzing every molecule of it. And I don't like doing that. I like analyzing a movie as a whole. But in this case, I got thoughts. And this is what the average consumer thinks of the Anchorman 2 trailer.
In the 70s, they were an elite unit, with names like Brick, Champ, Brian, and Ron. They rose like the phoenix, and then they were gone. Their legend became but a whisper, told by the trees, until now.
We're starting a 24-hour news channel, and we want you.
I'm gonna do the thing that God put Ron Burgundy on this earth to do. Have salon-quality hair and read the news.
This just feels right. The news team is back.
Welcome to the 80s, baby.
Is that your foot between my legs?
No.
Oh. Who's my hand?
Your hair looks like wet popcorn.
I like the parts of your face that are covered with skin.
Don't stop believing.
That's Jack Lime. Look at him. He's a prince.
He's not that great.
What'd you say? He said you're not that great.
Brick.
Don't stop believing.
I don't read Jet Magazine. Or, Jerry Curl Daily.
What are you doing?
I'm breaking down the barriers of race by assimilation. And on that note, which one of you convicts with the longest record can pass me the mashed potatoes? Am I right? Say what?
Now here's my personal perspective on Anchorman. It's one of my favorite movies, and I would rank it up there with Airplane and Caddyshack. I really would, and at the very least, I know some of you are going to disagree with me, at the very least, it is literally one of the funniest movies in the past 15 years. It's equally as funny as Step Brothers and any other funny movie you might think of in the past 15 years. But here's how I came across this movie. I remember reading in November of 2003, a couple months before the movie came out, a little blurb in Entertainment Weekly that said, due to a bad test screening, Will Ferrell's newscaster comedy gets pushed back a couple months. And when the movie finally came out, I absolutely loved it. I laughed literally throughout the entire thing, and when the DVD came out, I laughed even harder because they used so many alternate takes. Now, speaking of buying the DVD and seeing the alternate takes, I also, when I bought it at Best Buy, got this. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this. What happened was they shot an alternate version. They shot an alternate movie, basically. An alternate plot line that completely got cut out of the movie. It was about a terrorist gang called the Alarm Clock, who was this terrorist group who had no real agenda. If you see it, it's kind of a ragtag group that robs banks for their cause, even though they don't really have one. Because Anchorman is this movie where originally they had the idea of a chauvinistic newscaster, and then they developed a team. And actually, from what I read, one of the earliest scripts had all of the LA anchor people on a plane, and it crash lands on an island with ninja weapons and kung fu monkeys and weird things like that. Now, I know that sounds weird, but if you ever see this one, the ending, you can kind of understand. Like, I didn't believe it. I thought that was a joke, but if you saw the ending to this movie, Wake Up, Ron Burgundy, you'll see some elements of, like, survival and, you know, walking across rough terrain and stuff like that you wouldn't expect in a newscaster comedy. You know, and if you know that fight scene, boy, that escalated quickly. Like, that is something I could easily imagine coming out of that version of the script. And then finally, I'm sure it, you know, evolutioned into something a little bit more down to earth and reasonable. And then they took that movie, edited out an entire plot line, and that movie became this movie. And they're both equally funny. They're both really great. This is, I mean, Anchorman, I forget which hand, is probably I thought was going to be the closest sequel we would get to an Anchorman movie. And the thing is, and the point I'm making is, it feels like this little movie that could, where they kept trying, they had an idea, they really were passionate about making this newscaster comedy, and when you see this movie proper, you see all of their friends, all of, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay's friends joining in, the frat pack, if you will, because I imagine it took them a long time to make it, so they probably were, making other movies at the time, or at least starting to make and set up other movies at the time. So you figure you get all these other actors that they were going to be in movies with, and it was like, in the meantime, I'll be in your newscaster comedy. And it's a little movie that could. To the point where, like, some people don't notice, but Seth Rogen was in Anchorman. He had a little itty-bitty cameo that you wouldn't even expect. Like, it was before, this is before Knocked Up came out, but it's after Freaks and Geeks came out. So Seth Rogen wasn't, the funny fat guy yet, but, it was a small role that you wouldn't even blink and you miss him. So if you remember Anchorman, the whole plot line of a baby panda being born, that wasn't in there. The original plot line was about a terrorist group called the Alarm Clock. So the point I'm making is, it was this little movie that could, and I feel like Anchorman was really worked hard on. They really worked hard on it, and even when they got the funniest joke, the funniest jokes ended up in here, and even the funnier ones ended up in here. So, with that being said, the Anchorman 2 trailer, I see it, I'm nervous, I want it to be good, but, it could happen. I see the Anchorman 2 trailer, and it's kind of good. I'm pretty sure that all of the funniest parts of the movie aren't just in the trailer, because there's only like about 8 jokes in it, and I would be really disappointed if Anchorman 2 had only 8 funny jokes. One last thing I want to say about the trailer, there was a moment in it that looked kind of familiar. I'll show it. It's this one.
Your hair looks like wet popcorn.
I like the parts of your face that are covered with skin.
I swear I've seen that before. I think it was in this movie. Great minds think alike, I guess. Anyway, that's all I got, and that's what the average consumer thinks of the Anchorman 2 trailer.